as a basis of just that high level of competition they're playing. Now, they're number 12 in the Americas region on VRS, according to HLTV this morning, for a very good reason.
And just knowing that this is an organization that was at ESL Pro League Season 19 last year. Yeah, it's a slightly different roster. RDN is still there. Doc is still there. It's only that it was DRG, Togs, and Surplex. So if you are the boys of the core two, you're looking at this saying, mate, our eyes are on the prize again. We want to go to Pro League twice.
I'm starting to see if they can do that right here. It's only the opening match of this stage, and already the Sharks are getting straight into their pistol casualties. Doc and Gafolo have opened up onto that B-bomb site. Already Doc has gone down, but they've got that man advantage. They'll put that bomb plant in. The Sharks have kicked things off on the right foot. Can they close out said right foot?
PKL was waiting for contact to come in from the Glyph player and out there towards CT before he can strike out of the water, and the Glocks might just try and take the map control away.
Oh, quick swing from Gafolo. He knows where PKL is. Detroit looks to try and move forward, but he's not ready for Angelo. Kills in across the board from these electric individuals, and Sharks have looked to take early control of this game. Pistol will look to go their way. Zariba will fall, and indeed it's the Sharks to start.
Yeah, there's nothing that Zoba could do there, can you? You've got players out towards main. You've got players out there to electric. That whole round was a little bit heavier in terms of the acceleration. You've got quick contacts coming in from main, and then just immediate entries. PKL was waiting for an extension. It comes, and he just gets absolutely obliterated. What a start from Sharks to make a statement on the T side of Anubis.
Just so confident, so quick, so overwhelming against the opposition. And an example of things to come, perhaps. 2Game will need to try and reapply themselves and deny any more of this overconfidence from the Sharks side, because that could end up being deadly considering the favoritism that we give to the Sharks team in this context. No force buy into the second round for the 2Game camp.
Now, for the Sharks, they've won 4 out of their past 5 best of 3s, Jay, and the wins that they've all taken have been 2-0s, not being pushed towards a third map of decider. Now, their Instaban is Dust too, but as for Anubis, it's their lowest played map in the pool. They really don't have many officials on this at all, so there's a chance for 2Game to make a little bit of a statement, finally win a map in this head-to-head. But at the same time, if you are Sharks and you're thinking the 2-0s keep coming in, then that's got to be the prize again.
Well, they still win it when they do get the chance to play, even drawing out 9 rounds over LMP, but during the America's Division matches, they do end up taking the victory still, including again against 2Game during those 2 best of 3s during that Bucharest qualifier. The 2-0 matches, 13-10 and 13-6. So we definitely want to be avoiding the latter of those 2 scoreline examples. The Sharks will have easy control of this eco round. Decent efforts to stack in across the CT side line there over towards A main. They'll take down 1 player, but that's as far as it will go in terms of casualties.
And a nice achievement today. You've got Koala that's now playing his 300th map for the Sharks organization. This is a guy that came in from the Furia Academy side, had a little bit of time on the Union, Glories, and then at now 19, moving into 20 years old, he moved over to the Sharks organization last year. I'd love to be able to cap off a really good run here in the qualifiers. I mean, how they looked yesterday, they didn't even give Keydstars a look in, and that was a team that we covered, Jay. That was 13-6, 13-4. Now, the biggest statement was probably how one-sided the first halves were of both of those maps. They had a 10-2 CT side first half of Mirage, and then a 10-2 T side first half of Train. So if that's what you were able to achieve yesterday, you're coming in today saying, right, we want to slam teams. We want to just absolutely smoke them. And it's something that they've been able to do against 2Game in the past.
And these first couple of rounds have been pretty smoking of their own, right? But 2Game get a chance to resist with the rifle buys quickly inbound for them. They took the harsher eco in the last round so they can bring forward the M4s. Even got a Mac 10 out of it for PKL. So you might hold on to that for a little bit of extra cash. We're not lacking in helmets on the Sharks side, so that won't be like a major threatening weapon in the context of this buy. 2Game. And their first key opportunity off the back of losing that pistol to resist the opposition.
Now, we saw an Anubis pick yesterday from 2Game when they took on the Argentinians of Crew. Now, they only managed a 6-6 first half CT side, went into the second, and I think that's where they started developing a little bit more of their game plan. They started showing a little bit more of their strength. I don't know if 6 CT rounds is going to be enough against the Sharks. I think you always need to try and play up to your opponent, and going up against Crew and now going up against Sharks, you do need to develop. You do need to be able to show a little bit more threat in your overall game plan. And this is a 2-game side that the core 4 has been together since, what, the end of February this year? And then they bring in Detroit about a month later. And you've got Turner as the coach and Linko as an assistant coach, a guy that used to play with Godsense Academy team, the Young Gods in Brazil. So definitely a lot of background staff that can get them prepared and get them ready for this best of 3 today.
A lot of great experience pieces in server today. Sharks obviously been together a little bit longer than the 2-game side as a 5-man or 4-man unit more specifically. Obviously, Angelo is the one guy we're looking at in terms of the newest addition. He brought in a couple of months ago. We're still kind of within that first impressions territory for him as an individual, right?
Yeah, you'd probably say so. I mean, he's only played 49 maps on HLTV and 25 of them have been with Sharks, so that pretty much tells you he's not had a very long pro career, if anything at all. This is a real step up. And to get the idea of getting him involved in some of the LAN events, getting him involved in some of the deeper runs in the online cups, and know that Sharks have previously played at Tier 1 tournaments against different iterations over the years. And this is a real step up in competition for him. But I think we're noticing it quite frequently with a lot of the higher-end teams. It started with Imperial picking up Decenti and picking up guys like No Way. I think we're realizing that the top maybe 5 teams in South America, they are testing newer players. They aren't recycling some of the old guard. They're trying to get in with the youth. They're trying to go in with players that haven't had a huge amount of experience and get them ready for that higher level of competition.
Working their way up the Tier 2 environment, and of course a crack at Tier 1 for one of the teams involved in our bracket this weekend. It was only day 2 out of 4 we've got coming up over the South American divisions.
Well, you've got Imperial and Legacy on opposite sides of the bracket, so the only opportunity that they're going to meet is basically the upper bracket final. I mean, that's the most likely outcome you would assume. So for everybody else, it's all about trying to upset one of them, isn't it? It's trying to drop Legacy or an Imperial down towards that lower bracket, make it uncomfortable for one of the favorite teams in the comp.
There are some projects I have my eyes on to try see if they can curveball a steal. Unfortunately, Red Cannons and Selva, who are the teams taking on Imperial and Legacy respectively, are not quite on that list.
I just can't believe in 2025, not only Cold Zero is still competing, but Cold Zero is orbing. I mean, what is going on there? What has changed in a career path for a #1 rifler? Yeah, a long time ago, but for him to now be an AWPer.
Well, he's a 30-year-old legend, so give him that. Not the only one as well. A number of veterans involved in server today. PKL, for those of you 1.6 fans, and particularly the Tier 2 of the 1.6. Although it might be best known in Global Offensive for his 2016 to 18 tenure on Luminosity after the Fallen Cold Zero team moved on to SK Gaming and what have you.
Yeah, that would have been, what, Destiny, Yell, those kind of players. I mean, I remember watching him play Pro League Season 5, 6, and 7 with Luminosity, and this is the qualifier for Season 22.
It's been a very long time for individuals like him.
Not been a part of too many organizations either. I mean, when you consider how long he's been going for, I mean, G3X is one of his fairly early pro teams. Win Out, a lot of people remember in the local scene. He was on Luminosity for a very long time. And then after that, what, Wild, Pain, Fluxo, and now here with 2Game. I think certainly in Europe, we find a lot of players that are towards the end of their career, maybe in their 30s, that have had a lot of pro teams under their belt. PKL is not one of them. He's stuck by a lot of organizations for long tenures.
Well, Luminosity was 2016 to 2018, and then the Pain Gaming roster you mentioned a moment ago, that was his other probably notable tenure, but certainly a long tenure, 2019 to 2023. Almost exactly. No, actually, okay, so, sorry. 4 years and 4 days, actually. I'm reading the dates right now. February 2nd, 2019 to February 6th, 2023. So, like, that's a pretty insane amount of time to be with any team for any context, be it Tier 2 or Tier 1.
Well, if we're going to look at stats and we're going to look at dates, then we can say congratulations to Kochi, the head coach of Sharks, as today is his 8th year anniversary with the Sharks organization.
Wow. Wow, oh wow.
Don't often get that. I think BTN is having a good crack in the Romanian scene with Nexus for just how long he's been a part there, but 8 years being a head coach of one team, that's exceptional. That is one hell of a career note.
Brought Sharks to some relatively high highs as well. In that particular time, coached them in their Stockholm major appearance, for example. And of course, several Pro League appearances. Season 10 in their finals, Season 19. I think Season 19 was the last time we saw Sharks in a Pro League. So we'd love to see the organization back there for their own individual part of things.
But to think that the head coach's first season was 7 and then your last season was 19 tells you how long you've been going for. It tells you how long you've been pressing. Because, I mean, I certainly remember some of the early seasons of Pro League. Everyone will remember how it was very much international but separated. You had the Americas, you had a lot of the North American teams, you had the Asian representatives, the Oceanic teams. It's only been recently over the last few years that they've kind of put everyone together. But I mean, the round robin best of one format in NA, that's what I remember. That was my iconic Pro League watching back in the day.
Let's talk about Sharks more in terms of the recent affairs here, Dwayne, because about a couple months ago, you and I were doing an ECL broadcast, and we actually had Sharks competing in that particular matchup. And back then, something that came up was, okay, well, listen, they went deep in that Philadelphia event, and that looked pretty good for their own part of things, but has that inflated their ranking too much? And I kind of want to revisit that conversation because since then, we've seen them go third place in ECL South America. They won that Odyssey Cup, and there's been a couple of hiccups here and there. Went out in the first round of the Players with Thunder pick, and also for the most recent CCT South America event. So is that still a conversation to have for Sharks in the modern day?
No, I don't think so. And I think that's probably the whole gist of VRS, is that the more you compete, the better inflated your ranking is from a disillusion. I look at them right now around the 60 marker, and I go, that probably sounds about right. You're in a good position where a lot of your results have been consistent in terms of tournament placings. I don't think they've been getting eliminated by teams that they shouldn't do. I mean, let's even look at the most recent officials. They got eliminated out of the MRQ by Bestia. They got eliminated out of Frag by NIP. The Fire League event, they got eliminated by Imperial. ECL was against Solid. The only one that you can maybe throw up there was Thunderpick most recently with the Red Canids, and then maybe CCT with LP. But if you're looking at a grand scale of the last 3 months, they have been losing to teams that are just better than them, and that's the reason why they're going out of tournaments.
And maybe that's the reason why the ranking has been maintained as a result. I know they lost 7 places in the world from last month to this month, but HLTV actually has some forecast to make a few more points up if we were to update the rankings as of right now. So the bounce back has certainly been in line with Sharks in maintaining their position just inside of that top 70 in the world, and as well as that just outside of the top 10 as well in the Americas division. So for them, they're doing a great job in the domestic sort of scene. I wonder if they're a team you start looking at as trying to make more moves up to the international space. You know, I mean, obviously, in this particular context, this particular qualifier, we have 2 names that we look at as saying, right, these guys are the favourites to make it into Pro League. But do you see Sharks attending any other international events?
Depends if they keep going to LANs. I mean, they won the Odyssey Cup, and they've now qualified to another local LAN. LAN gives you so many points in the VRS, and teams are being quite naive about it when it comes to the Tier 2 and Tier 3 scene. The more BYOCs and local LANs you go to, the better opportunities you're going to get in terms of a better VRS to getting to Tier 1. So I would say it depends on the organization. If they continue to do well at local LANs like they've done recently, then I think towards the end of the year, we will certainly see them at least crack 1, maybe even 2 Tier 1 tournaments.
Let's talk 2 game then in terms of their progression, because we're looking at at Sharks as doing, you know, taking the next step by going towards more local lands. 2 games still very early in terms of their lifespan. They've had a very quick and insane rise to their credit, but is LAN something they should be thinking about, or is it more of that online grind they need to do?
No, I think it is. I think every team should be. I don't think it matters what region you're in. I mean, we're seeing a lot of Philadelphia events happening across NA and South America. We're seeing the odd few local LANs that are going on across Europe. I think there's definitely more in the Americas than there is in the East right now. But where we sit in the current moment, I think any team that is not basically within the top 30 or 40 in VRS across the world, they should be going to local LANs. That is where you're getting your VRS. That's where it's going to be really important for the grind mindset.
Well, I will say that in terms of the online grind mindset, you'll probably see a little bit more of 2 game in the very near future. They won ESEA Open this past season, so they'll be playing in all 4 of the ESL Challenger League Cups, right? They're going to be in the South American Cups to make some more ranking points and potentially go to that regional final, which will be the new pathway up to the Pro League for them. So a lot of fun things in terms of their potential future. How much do we think that we could see out of that potential future being fulfilled?
Let's just say I'll make a judgment after this qualifier, because I think it depends on how you perform here, right? I mean, we're looking at top 8 teams try to battle out in a double elim bracket. I think if you go out early, then I'm probably not expecting much. If you end up going towards the top 4, if you end up threatening some of the best teams in the region in this qualifier, then I'd say that it's a little bit more of a positive. So it might be a litmus test through this double elim bracket.
Right now, they are on the back foot of this matchup, and as you may notice, we've kind of brought proceedings to a bit of a halt. Unfortunately, we are facing some packet loss problems from several of the teams involved in the competition today. Imperial also suffering it in their particular matchup. So we'll have to send this one to a break and see if we can fix that up and get right back into the thick of it, because very important matchup for 2Game. Not only revenge, but also their progress in the upper bracket of stage 2. So don't go anywhere. We'll return with more Anubis here in the ESL Pro League South America qualifier.
We go to broad daylight, feeding every night like Friday night. I keep the party on rock and I Bombay ice. Gotta see stars like Broadway lights. I told a baby girl, you don't gotta kick it with the daydreamers. You can skip the line, I'm the gatekeeper. Plus I got the crowd going crazy, dance floor blazing up, going. When they see me show up, I be feeling glowed up. When they see me show up, I be feeling so. When they see me show up, I be feeling glowed up. When they see me show up, I be feeling so. With the VIPs in your city, getting litty as a BIC, huh? Yeah, screaming life's a gift, so we live to the fullest till we DIE. DJ, put it back on, keep it hype, we don't wanna hear no sad songs. Everybody up in here just wanna celebrate. Sip a little drink, get the dance on. That's all, listen, everything good over here. We don't want no problems, we just want cheers. Toast to the good life, wine, liquor, beer. Haters getting blocked if they trying to interfere. Swag on 100 and my drip too fresh. Certified stunner, need a big blue check. I don't got no time for no BS or no negative ideas in my vibe, cause I'm just too blessed. Run it back. When they see me show up, I be feeling glowed up. When they see me show up, I be feeling so. When they see me show up, I be feeling glowed up. When they see me show up, I be feeling so.
every moment can be precious like this. So come on, here's something you don't want to miss.
And welcome back. Apologies for the delay, but it seems like our packet loss problems have, well, gone away at this point. Sharks and 2Game ready to go live in with round number 3. Sharks at the pistol and conversion rather convincingly. Time for our first rifle round of the series to wake.
Well, it seems like with starting 3B that they're going to get quite aggressive and look to try and take some space away from B main, try and make an info to the start of the round. I feel for 2Game, especially on the city side of Anubis, when you've failed in so many head-to-heads, when you've struggled to keep games competitive, you need to be very active on this side of the map. If you sit back and you play defensively, it's going to make it very difficult for you to upset against a strong team like Sarks.
They've already felt the wrath of the Sharks side, so 2Game, a rough idea of what to expect. But can they deal with it is the next big question. Couldn't do so in the pistol. Have tagged Doc down significantly to kick off round number 3. Not quite dead, but at 32 points of health. He's going to be a bit of a liability now for the round for Sharks.
You're also going to have a lot of teams in local regions, Jay, that just aren't scrimming this map at the moment. With the changes of the map pool, teams, you won't be able to book one for Anubis. So for that reason, it's going to make it quite difficult, and I think we're going to see some gimmicky mistakes as time continues if teams consistently pick this map while it's still in the pool.
Flash forward for Detroit to take his picks in 2-3 to his name as mid is mopped up single-handedly by the man. The Sharks locked out of their first round loss of the series. 2Game exploding into life. Well, Detroit exploding into life.
That's an excellent flashbang. The timing is just on the money. I mean, right there, you've got a Temple Smoke. You've got what looks to be a fairly easy A split. 2 players coming in from main, 3 in from mid. They just need to focus into camera, and instead, no one's playing anti-flash. Everyone is completely blinded. It's an easy I wouldn't even say it's a transfer, is it? I mean, it's a bit of a lineup. He can get out towards that Nico box, protect himself, and anytime you can get away with 3 kills without even being traded straight away, it tells you how good that flashbang really was. The Sharks will be able to be in a rebuy situation in the next round, but 2Game make a statement in the opening rifle.
A very simple shutdown kind of round for them. Sharks obviously will not be too happy with making those kinds of easy concessions at 2Game side. Quickly involved into this matchup now with a chance to swing momentum towards their favor. No reserve cash for the Sharks camp. They're going to buy those 3 kills back. Let's see how much they're going to resist.
In the previous round, we didn't see any info plays to come out from 2Game. They had a little bit of a jiggle out there to the electric and into the canals, but in terms of mid, B, and even A directly, they were very defensive. Angelo with the bomb, just trying to see if he can cross out. Quite a bit of early util towards mid, but not a huge amount of mid pressure here from Gafolo.
We've got a minute to play with the Sharks. Press players into their respective positions. Default just set in as standard. HE's again placed well for 2Game, doing some initial damage if they're not getting the opening kill.
Out towards A, there's no defensive util at all. You've got both of the anchors that have been drawn out, and it's a bit of a misread. The CTs, because it's getting very silent and because there's not a lot of time on the clock, are trying to see if they can make an info. Now, they're separating themselves away from A. This allows the A bomb site to be taken really easily by the T side.
Time is short on them. Sharks start making their moves into the A bomb site. RDN will be the first player forward. Flashbang against the first contact to Heaven. He'll get sprayed down for damage, but he'll get the kill from beyond that. Smokers can follow full 20 seconds on the clock. Need to get that bomb plant in with absolute urgency. And Zariba take the trade, not quite. Koala is good for another one back towards mid, coming off one of those rotators. Second man is involved, but Vision is blocked. They've got no access directly to the bomb site. They'll start preening in very slowly, but Doc is on a continuous hunt to get behind this smoke. Hiding, waiting for it to fade away. Here at Heaven, gets caught on. RDN picked up first. Zariba trailing onto that casualty. Damage is being done towards the CT sideline. Exposed bomb defuse. Eventually gets Doc and Angelo into their respective picks, and Sharks can answer back.
Well, right there from 2Game, they need to be more active. They've got no idea what's happening in that round. There's, what, 40 seconds on the clock. The A defenders have no util. Yeah, they try and prod out towards mid, but they really needed a prod out towards B. They needed something towards the electric, something towards main, just to give them an idea of the round. It's always very difficult to defend the A bomb site, and if you're not in good positions to do so, you're going to get overwhelmed completely. That was just a comfortable round there from Sharks, and for 2Game, I'm looking at the buy state thinking, right, we're rebuying in, we've got no AWP, we've got an MP9, we've got a lack of util. This could be the team on your map pick going 1-5 down. That's a really slow start on the CT line.
Yeah, still a key possibility. Game decided to pick into this map for very good reason. They've got a great track record on it in the local divisions, even beating out Crew during one of their earlier matches in the South American qualifier. The Sharks are a different beast. Nice nades again, place giving Luke is the opening pick and the second one as well. Gaffolo can trade him. Looking for PKL next, but PKL is not in the position to get traded himself. The SMG only now making his way through the mid door. Now here, both those sets of footsteps rotating back towards the A bomb side. That might be information to telegraph over towards them. The M4 spots a shoulder, does damage to RDN. Incendiary tries him out into the open, but he can't quite get the punish on. Now the T's are regrouped and they're going in for the hit. PKL's on site though. Zariba gets his kill. RDN is down. PKL close towards the tops. It's SMG. Corner to follow. Gets an awkward spray against PKL. Will cost him his life. Zariba's tagged up himself, but he does hold on to his lifeline and holds on to 3 kills in the round. A second on the board of 2Game.
We just noticed a little bit of individual X factor. You've got Lucas, who's in an advanced position, off angle being held out into the canals. 2 very clean kills before he gets traded. And then Zerber out there towards A. Yes, he's got distraction from his teammate up in Heaven. He's got a little bit of movement going out there from the bricks. He ends up getting a triple kill. So that might be something that we have to reflect on from 2Game and see it a little bit more frequently as time goes on, is individuals creating moments, making plays.
And the Sharks once again get their lead tested, although forcing into this next round with 1 AK. Doc's got it in his hands, only gets away with damage. It's Angelo to finish off the job against him. Detroit can't quite stabilize his own engagement, so he's going to get forced back. The CTs in general playing behind these smokes have no choice in the matter. They're trying to get ahead of the curve. They're trying to catch Sharks players off guard, but it's not working in this 4-on-4. A second rifle is in T-side hands.
It's an excellent cancel here from Sharks. There's a lot of pressure building out there to Camera and to Temple, just with the util and the amount of CT spam. Don't run through either of those smokes. Slow the round down, start regrouping, start clearing out map control towards the canals. You've already got Koala that's searching, trying to see if any of those electric players have advanced forward. Now, they've got plenty of time on the clock here. They're anticipating a little bit of a flank that could come out from B main. So they're just waiting for the moment. They're waiting to see whether there is going to be a wraparound from the CT side, but it should be an A split. They should contact their way through Camera and then have your late lurk come in from A main to assist.
Walks forward. The M4 of Hardzao to engage. This out some damage. Koala and Gaffolo get those easy pickings, and Sharks seem like they're well and truly on for the steal here. A 4v2 post plant. Detroit and Lucas don't even have any defuse kits with them. I've been some dropped out there towards Heaven. I think that maybe Detroit might have spotted one and certainly spotted his dead teammate. M4 of Lucas, a Camera, fights against Angelo. That's a kill found. Koala can hear him coming, take a fight, lose it, 2v2 now. A range game being played, and Luke is low HP. Wait for the chance to peek in the open. He still gets the kill in. The AK strikes. Knows exactly where Detroit is. Flashbang to suppress the man. He's stalling for time. Detroit's looking to hunt down the casualty. And Gafollo's already won the round. He'll lock in the kill to seal the deal. And once again, the Sharks side can answer back to 2-game.
It's a pretty poor crossfire out there towards A. I think you've got two ways of playing it, Jay. When you know that you've got the better weaponry, you either give respect or you give disrespect. And I feel in that crossfire, when you're jiggling out there in heaven and storage, it sort of is, you're in advanced positions, but you're also quite defensive. I'd like to see a player out there in heaven jiggling, and then another player down on maybe the stairs that can watch out from camera, can spin 180 towards A main. It wasn't very clean. And what we end up finding, because you're jiggling, if you're not getting the kills straight away, it's going to separate the two of them. I mean, there's very limited investment coming through from Sharks. They shouldn't have been able to win that round coming through from camera. And the A players are just completely unsuccessful. And looking at how that retake goes in the 2v4, you just hope that if there's maybe 1-for-1 or even a 2-for-2 with those anchors, that retake is just going to be so much cleaner and so much more easier for 2-game.
Back and forth we will go in this matchup. 2 rounds the Sharks took to gain the initial lead is the main buffer that's keeping them at the advantage. But now to extend that advantage with Doc kicking things off well. The force buy is truly returned for the 2-game side. They lack in lost bonus because of the blow-for-blow rounds. And they're just not finding anything with these extensions. The FAMAS, the next victim. The M4 Hearts can drop the bomb carrier, but Koala will trade him, so it's a 4v2. No chance of PKL and teammate to really get anything out of this context. The bomb has free reign. B's now been stacked up. If anyone prods A now, they'll recognize it's open, and then from there, the round is over.
I can appreciate the effort. You're in a limited investment buy where you need something to go right for you, don't you? You need to search for an opening kill. You've got to give yourself a quick advantage. The problem is, there's a dry peak solo from the canals without another player in sight, without any util being thrown, and it's just a lazy opening death. It's just one that capitalizes in, what, the first 15 seconds, and then from there, you've just got nothing. I mean, as soon as you lose that kill, the round's basically over because you need to keep searching, you need to keep being on the front foot. Now, you can hope that you can gamble up here on B, but let's be honest, 2v4, this is a miracle if you can hold off on this bomb site.
Doc, easy pickings. There are no miracles for 2-game here today. Frank switching into the M4 to drop his AK over for no one to pick up himself. Either way, the Sharks will be facing against the basic USPs. 2-game do not have any cash to buy back anymore. Certainly wouldn't be worth the force buy. And the eco will lead you back into rifles. Unfortunately for 2-game, with the nature of how the rounds have played out, the sequences that haven't been broken. We're going to 6-2 now for the Sharks side, and then the next rifle to try and stop them from getting the half. This is a very, very difficult circumstance to play from if you are 2-game. And Sharks looking to show that history does indeed repeat itself multiple times over. AK's engaged from RDN. And Doc as well, making light work of that E-push.
And we know that there's some connections between these two organizations in terms of the recent head-to-heads, but did you know that Detroit and Koala were teammates on the Glories organization from January to May last year? And knowing that you're going up against one another, knowing that this rivalry is starting to build, and that you've got a new young AWPer trying to come into the 2-game organization, and Koala is still in his youth when it comes to the early stages of his career. 6-2 is the score, and if you're 2-game, I think you're starting to get quite desperate, aren't you? This is a slow start in which you need to return quickly, otherwise this scoreline is just going to come away from you.
Angelo's kicked things off with an AWP kill onto Detroit. Down in an instant. Sharks really making light work of some of these openings, and the rounds are coming extremely clean for them. Fight of that M4. Still can't get any kills. Shoulder shot on one. Doc Does get punished by rdnzao. The AWP has seen 2 players and is wary of PKL, who I think was heard there by RDN. He certainly will know about it here. That bomb still in at Ruggs. Needs to be careful that he doesn't go down alone. Angelo sees and frags out Lucas, and the round is continuing to get picked apart piece by piece here by the Sharks.
They're very clever there, Jay. When all of that pressure is building out to the canals, they know that PKO is close towards A main. They saw another player in the canal, so they know 3 alive, 2 players have already been seen. This must be a heavy contact. So what Gafolo does, he just starts walking mid. He just starts walking the entire area of the map. And that's where Sharks can get themselves in really good positions to now come back and trade. PKL's an easy goner. And then your last player left of rdnzao, they've been searching, they've been waiting, they've been very patient, but they're being completely outread. And I think for 2Game, the issue that they're finding is, first off, they're giving away too many opening fights. And then secondly, they're just struggling in depth in the mid-rounds. They're just being completely outclassed right now.
Well, we talked exactly about the Sharks' favoritism in this series, and 2Game's recent rise has certainly been something to behold. If you've been following it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, but the difference is that the Sharks are playing at a much more different level, and they're playing a lot more frequently at that level. And for 2Game, sometimes you just meet an opponent that is just better than you, unfortunately, and right now that's the way it's looking.
And something I'll add too, Jay, is that what we say quite frequently in domestic matchups where we're getting some head-to-heads in recent history is that it's good to change the veto, right? When you're the team that comes out as the loser, you have the opportunity to pick something else. If you're 2Game, you don't in this best of 3, because Dust 2 is the permaban for Sharks, and Dust 2 is a fairly good map pick for 2Game, so that's one option disappeared. Your other option is Train. Now, Train is one of the best maps locally for Sharks. They beat good teams on the region of it. They pick it in a lot of best of 3s. They picked it against Keydstars yesterday. So Dust 2 is not an option. Train is not an option. Anubis is an option. I don't think they've got another map. I don't look at their map pool and say they've got a 4th option. So you kind of get driven into Anubis where you already know we've picked it twice before and we still haven't been able to come out on top.
Unfortunately, it is just one of those things, isn't it? Just the way that the map sort of plays out, the way that things will, work in a veto context, with the way that you've set up your own game. It should have been Dust 2 that they could get into in terms of their best map in the pool, but as you say, just not an option available.
And how frequently is that? We get a lot of top teams in almost all regions that struggle against certain teams just because of the map pool bias, just because of the way the veto goes down. There's always your kryptonite, and it might just be the case for 2Game where they don't have a map pool that shapes up nicely against Sharks.
So no doubt in my mind that if Dust 2 was played in this kind of context, a 2Game would at the very least contest against a team of the caliber of Sharks. When you take it into the intricacies of the reason why it's the Sharks permaban, obviously you'd expect them to do particularly well on it. I mean, they've beaten so many teams. I mean, you were going down the list a little bit earlier on. Crew, Keydstars, Vestra in that 31-29 overtime. Bounty Hunters fallen to them. Respectable names at the very least in the South American division. I have to fall back on Anubis, and this is the result of that.
And if you consider that Dust 2 and Anubis are your best maps in the pool, mate, you're going to hate the change of Overpass coming in. And it's really going to affect a squad like 2Game if we're looking at projection and we're looking at the bias that could come. I mean, out here towards A, they are trying to brute force their way through the smoke. It's a bit awkward with the pistols up close. That could have got very awkward. I think Sharks will look at that and say, we've got lucky to not lose that many casualties going through A main.
Point blank, couldn't place the PT-50 and the 5.7 any better. And the M4 of rdnzao is good to trade back one player, so to make it expensive, but I think at this stage, with the money being where it is, with the late portions of the half we're approaching, I don't know if expense means much to them. They take down Koala, that might set them up, because Angelo's AWP only good for 1 kill at a time. Koala gets that pick in. 5.7's dealt with as well. It's actually an ace for Koala in that round. Sharks take 8 on their own board.
And for 2Game, it's a terrible feeling because the form's been really good for them recently. 8 out of the past 10 best-of-3s won on HLTV. They've got quite a lot of 2-0s in there. The factor is, you're going up against a team that you've lost to previously, a team that's also in very good touch. I mean, Sharks have won 9 out of their past 12. And with how they performed against Keydstars yesterday, we're seeing very similar parallels to the series today.
And Detroit's AWP trying to look above the smoke. Flashbangs being sent in. T-side players look on to follow. Caught first, blinded by flashbangs. Still, only one pick comes out of it. rdnzao right through the smoke. Adjusted towards Koala as Angelo fell the same. A big sequence for an all-important third. A consolation prize. Something that 2Game could try and build back with. You know, the last round of the half, Sharks finally facing some resistance here.
That's just unlucky. That's a really good call there from Sharks. They've been pressurizing mid and A so much that they think that they'll probably only start 2B going into round 11. So you go for something a bit quicker, you go for a pop setup, and not only is there 3 on B, but there was a lineup potential out there on the pillar, and it just doesn't quite come in for a multi-frag. So I think that was a good call from the in-game leader there of Gafolo. Just unfortunate that you're running into 3B.
A 5-round streak, because Sharks will not carry it to the end of the half, but they can still make a 9-3 advantage happen right here. I'm talking about Anubis being one of the most team-sided maps in the pool at the moment, and even with that in mind, 9-3 is a difficult scoreline to battle back from for 2Game. Sharks set towards the A site, 2 players to meet them.
A little bit of a vertical crossfire being made. Depends on the util that comes from the T side line on how successful this is going to be. It's another A lane.
Oh, straight up for Zariba, caught flash blinded. PKL hiding behind the pillars, tried to swing in towards the firing squad of T-side players and quickly loses his life as a result of that. Sharks may have already won the round. They'll have to go for a retake on 2Game, but you're not counting much here.
And just completely farmed out on that post. Now, rdnzao is attempting, just like what he did in the last round, but you're just getting bombarded with the util, aren't ya?
18 to 13, dead to the hands of Koala. Next man, Aluki, has been seen, takes down only one. Doc trades him, the AWP at Detroit, at point blanks on a 1 versus 4, only gets 1 out of 4. It's a 9-3 half, a dominant one for the Sharks.
Come play with us.
He wants to win right here, right now. He's crazy. As he turns it, nice headshot. Oh, clean headshots from Leslie.
Very confident stuff from the Sharks leading into their CT side of things. Again, Anubis is one of the more T-sided maps in the pool, but honestly, Dweg, Sharks have been looking like a very good unit, just in general, let alone with a T-side advantage.
When you consider it was, what, a 3-2 scoreline from the start, we're going a bit back and forth for the force by wins. You don't expect a 9-3 half. They got absolutely smoked. That was a farming performance out there in the first half, and I don't think we've got many rounds to play out until this job is finished on Anubis.
Maybe 4 rounds and a half in general. 2 game. T-side pace, trying to quicken, trying to bring the fight back towards the Sharks. They'll suffer heavily to take down Koala. They will draw first ball against the man. The USP can follow only with the 1 pick. PKL takes him right back. Doc is ready for a cross. And no one needs to move there. The bomb's already on site via electric. Angelo gets caught from range by rdnzao, so a 4-on-2. USP start moving on the back lines. They struggle to get that kill in on Detroit. They will get them together in the end of a 2 versus 2. Doc still working down PKL, who's now low HP, as is Doc. rdnzao is tagged to 75, and they're going to try and hunt PKL down. That might give a chance for Zariba to move on to position. USP's around the corner. PKL is picked up. Doc is still low. The last man close, challenges, gives himself away, takes down Doc. RDN swings out wide and gets his kill. Plenty of time for the defuse. It's another pistol win, 2 for 2 for Sharks.
And if you're PKL, you're just fuming because the opening attempts are really successful. You're coming in from the canal quickly. You're sending players into B. You're dropping the anchors, no problem whatsoever. The post plant looks to be fairly successful. You've got players in a B main, you've got players in electric, you've got players out towards default, and you're just missing bullets. You're not getting connections on those crossfires. And at this scoreline, it's just not quite good enough. rdnzao tried his absolute best, but it wasn't enough. I mean, he's someone that played in the ESL Pro League Season 9 LAN finals with Daytona way back in mid-2019, then featured again in Season 17 with Pain only a couple of years ago. This is an experienced player where we're still looking at individual numbers. We have not seen any double digits from anyone from 2 game.
It's an individual outclassing, and there's nothing really too special about it. There's no tactical mastermindery on play. So Sharks hit, and they hit harder.
But even rdnzao averaging a 1.28 rating on this map for the last 3 months, Detroit at a 1.29. Where are they? Is it a difference of level of caliber? Maybe that's an excuse we can make. I mean, rdnzao's trying to do something out here towards mid. The problem now is he's still got Doc on the A-bomb site, and he hears the rotation coming through from Temple.
Oh, Detroit picked up a Galil and actually managed to find the pick, however. rdnzao challenging the last man out towards that mid-rotation. Koala tagged low, but he gets his kill in. Detroit has been given an even stance in this 1v1. But can he close the 2-game efforts? Can he close the efforts of his teammates? Koala rotating into the back lines. Detroit is wary of that camera position for now because where Koala's last known angle was. But as soon as the timer ticks, as it continues to tick, he's going to start to recognize the potential of a backstab. Eyes set towards heaven, not seeing anything. This is all timing now. I think he's just made his way behind the bricks. Indeed, he has. Backed up in heaven. Smoke to the bomb for Koala. Forced the man out into a fight. Tap it once. Detroit's hunting for his contact, but he looks down as Koala looks up and times it well. It was indeed all a game of timing. The timing works better for Sharks once again.
Really well played there from Koala. He knows that he's got no kit, so there's no way he's going to stick it, especially on low HP. So what you do is you put the smoke down, you try and draw the fight straight away. Hasn't been drawn. Okay, now I need to tap, but I also don't want to expose myself straight away. I want to give myself a couple of seconds, see if he's maybe going to spam, see if he's going to be maybe focused on the smoke and towards the bomb. A 2-game. They had to recover a 2v4, but even still, I think that's a moment that just needs to be taken, doesn't it? If you're not quite closing those moments, if you're not successful in the clutches, then you're just not going to have a chance. And I'm looking at the scoreline of 11-3. Yeah, you've got another gun round in, but what are even the hopes on map 2? I mean, we haven't seen the map picks of the opposition be competitive. It's only been Anubis at times that have shown something. Otherwise, I just don't have a lot of faith going into map 2.
one of those things where the first map has been so overwhelmingly good from one side that it's like you look at the opposing force and it's what have you shown us in your own map pick that may give us any indication you can bounce back on the opponent's map pick, right? Like, it's just such an overwhelmingly good showing from the Sharks that the two-game side have been unable to keep up with. And so just thinking about Train as a map in general, the fact that two games just don't play it all that often, there's just more points to the tally of the Sharks side.
They do pick it a little bit. I mean, it's their third highest picked map in the pool. I'm trying to think about the series as recently in which they've picked Train. They picked it against the Bounty Hunters in CCT, and they picked it against Red Canids, the MIBR Academy side, and the Swingers in one of the Odyssey Cups. But it's not a map that I would say is too successful for them in comparison to the map pick that's coming through from Sharks on how good they look on Train.
I mean, just as a comparison point, you mentioned those 4 maps they picked in over the course of the last 2 months. Those are the only 4 maps on record on HLTV for 2 games. The Sharks, they've got 9 of them. So that's sort of just, again, tell the tale of the experience that we've been talking about. The main comparison put between these two sides is the fact that Sharks have experienced at a high level that 2 games do not. That experience is demonstrated here on Anubis. I'd imagine that it will be demonstrated well on Train the same. Especially because we may well be very close to the end of this map and we'll be very close to the start of Train with the way things have gone thus far. The Sharks have just hammered down on the gas pedal, not let up at all 2 game. Not being given a chance to respond, let alone gain a response. 2 more to go to the W. Detroit does walk out towards that B bomb site, get a couple of good picks. Angelo's good for a trade. Second man detected in red, and it goes 2 for 2.
They're just furious again. You've got a walk contact that's got a double entry out on B, and it's still somehow a 3v3. You're walking mid while the CTs are walking A. Now, Ruggs is being held very passively, and that's Zerba with the Galil. But he's not looking down to the right-hand side. He's looking out to the canal directly instead.
Another response from Doc in mid. Angelo's not done. Turned into a 3K. Doc is known about, so PKL wisely takes his veteran element and moves it over to that B bomb site for a plant. But can he win the clutch? He's waiting for Doc to counter-rotate through the canals or put that bomb down. Open for Electric. M4 watching from the temple entrance. All timing again for the CT player. He's going to miss his mark on the first contact. Uglift to check out main. PKL's not there. Doc. Incendiary scent, not smoke on his pouch, but fought upon by PKL, who held his patience. Information given over to him, and he plays that clutch to keep 2 game away from and losing at the map point itself. Sharks are a little bit more work to do.
And this is where double eco territory, there's only a couple of options that Sharks have. They can either canal crunch, or they can gamble stack quite heavily. Maybe keep 3 towards B, have a little bit of a prod towards the canal in the mid round, or even towards B main. They've got no MP9 and armor. They're all trying to go pistol armor to get a little bit of extra util forward.
There's a 2 games chance to make up the ground that stands between them and the Sharks. 8 rounds that are good before that previous one come in, so 7 more. This one should make it 6. It's a forced buy from the Sharks side with only pistols in play. So for 2 games to take this, should be looking down a few more off the back of that as well. Angelo tagged up first, but Doc gets the first kill in. Blind sprays will attempt to get him from beyond that smoke. 6 points of health. He keeps the weapon and Mac 10 forward. Not a massive one for the CT side, but it's a 5-on-4.
Now watch out for the 2 resmokes, because Koala's got one on B, and then there's another one towards this A bomb site. So depending on whether that goes down towards main or out towards camera, it could waste quite a bit of time off of the clock. Now there's a gamble stack of 3 players towards A, and the T's are starting to make quite a bit of noise. This is where they might try and go aggressive into camera.
Audience heard him and goes right behind. Fight on Doc, goes in with the kills, they double up. Angelo looking for a triple, is he going to overextend? He's got a teammate inbound for the temple entrance! And RDN uses that distraction to dome a perfect flick to the head. The Galil of Zareba, a 1v3 for him. Molotov's coming in thick and fast, burning him down into the hands of Gafolo. so perfectly set up for the Sharks as they steal the force bite, gets it up with 8 map points.
Do you know what I love about that setup, Jay? Is not only is it really good discipline from the 2 camera players, but notice after Angelo gets the 2 kills with the Mac 10, you could just ego swing there. You could just try and keep the pressure up by swinging instantly. They sort of jiggle, but they don't hard wide swing until the Temple player comes through the smoke. Now, it doesn't even matter. The Temple player didn't get any impact, but it's that discipline of knowing when to react and when to peak as mass, as units, as heavy CTs. And it's moments to that degree that highlight the quality that Sharks have brought to this first map of the series.
The 2 game are done here on Anubis. Don't have a lot of faith for them over on Train either, so what more do you say outside of that? The Sharks decimated their way through almost every single round on this first map. The opponent's map picking everything, so don't get too encouraged. RDN even having the confidence to peek up towards Ruggs. He's got Doc involved against PKL. We lost Angelo as well there at DC. I don't think it matters though because it's a 4v3.
The mid players have been able to get space, but rdnzao still needs to go back and get that bomb. Now, Lucas is hoping to try and catch a timing of getting one of the B players to rotate off. rdnzao's very worried about any aggression to come through the canals and potentially catch him with the bomb. Not a lot of time left on the clock, so depending on what the player in Temple finds, the bomb should shift towards B.
Trying to work their way up, but slow to the uptake. RDN leans forward, fights the SMG, gets his kill in. rdnzao trades Doc, drops that bomb. And Luke is 12 seconds to recover it to get the kills both here and on the bomb side. Just not going to happen. 13 for Sharks, a confident way to kick off this series, decimating 2 games' own map pick.
And this is Sharks continuing their form from yesterday. We are now looking at 16-6, or 13-6, I should say, on Mirage, 13-4 on Train, another 13-4 on Anubis. They have just been slamming teams in this qualifier. And I think that if you don't consider Sharks to be a legitimate threat to go deep in this competition, then you're not watching their games at all. They are free win. You are still going into a map that gets played and won by an opposition side. Yes, okay, it's not to the same level, and it's not as frequently as yourselves, but Sharks just need to temper expectations. They need to lock in, and they need to put a good performance on Train now.
I think one of my concerns of looking at the rifle wins as the basis for 2 game to get sort of like going in terms of this matchup is that we saw them win a couple of gun rounds over the course of that first map up. I know it's a very small pool of results at a 13-4, but every time they did, Sharks answered back. So they not only need to get the gun rounds themselves, but also need to follow up upon it, right? You need to go for that second round, get those streaks going, generate some momentum, because when Sharks are running 5 in a row rounds, you're going to have a tough time at answering back to that. So 2 game, double Julie set in for the pistol round on CT side start for Train. They're going to need to get as much out of the opening half as possible. And Lucas is at first port of call. The T side have already walked out of T-Con, and Lucas is down in an instant.
And not accelerating with pace towards A, though. You've still got Koala coming out of Pop. Everyone's sitting behind the sandwich boat for now. rdnzao's hoping to spam, but the bomb will go down easily. PKL is trying to get 1 kill before trying to return back towards Connector, but he's just getting nothing in the process except being gooched.
Inaccuracy, can't stabilize his taps. Zuriba will at least get 1 back on Doc, so that's a trade to a 4-on-4. Alongside a follow-up from Detroit, RDN has taken it to a 3-on-3 with rdnzao going down. Gafolo is waiting back at T-Con. PKL's near the train. And the bomb train specifically, Gafolo looking around the red train. Spot out the player of Detroit has moved in, but he's exposed from one of these angles. He needs to hide behind E-Box as RDN gets PKL and doubles up to Zuriba. Angelo will close the last man, and Sharks will take 3 for 3 now in the pistol rounds.
And I'd like to see what Angelo is going to be made of in terms of the AWP, because we saw very rare AWPing from him. He just didn't bring the big green out. In the few rounds that he did, he was getting the 1-up against Detroit on the other side. You would expect Train, well, maybe it depends on just how one-sided this first half scoreline is, but especially when he gets on the City side, we'll expect that to come out and have a little bit more impact. Lack of SMGs going into round 2 against the anti-force buy. There is triple AKs for the T's.
Want to try and contest early. 2 game going to force the issue. 1 for 1 as Angelo does get traded, but picked up that first kill. The SMG is Ariba with 3 players pouring out of the ramp. PKL Scout can only do so much there, forced away. Again, even man stands with the bomb plant going down. There's an AK picked up by Lucas that might provide a little bit extra firepower support, but you're lacking in kits and still with 2 snipers for the retake.
Well, you've got to go for this one. In a 3v3 situation with an AK recovered, there's no point in saving. And now with a kill against Doc, it looks quite likely that this retake is going to be successful.
Lucas strikes, Koala waits, Son sprays through, can't get the kill he's looking for, and Gafolo's alone here, 1 on 3 for him. CT side going to cover off Heaven, Diffuse being stopped by PKL. Detroit knows he needs a body shot, misses it on the bait, but gets a second chance and will land it. So 2-game, do answer back.
It's a bit of a strange round fundamentally from Sharks, and not only have they got triple AKs, but they just send out the first player in T-Con completely alone, and no util, no teammate in sight to trade. It's only a 1-for-1. And then out there on B, rather than cancelling when that resmoke goes down towards ramp, they just kind of brute force the duels. It gave me a disrespectful kind of vibe of what Sharks wanted to bring to the table. And I think right there, you get some sloppy sprays in the post plant, and players not connecting on kills that they should do. It's an early wake-up call for the Sharks.
Smokes up for Zoribot. Doc takes heed, Lucas. Get on top of the red train, look down in towards T-Con. Zoriba's just going to wait contact to make their way in with the Sharks side. They are slow to the uptake.
They've got themselves quite a bit of util because they've invested into so many of these Tech 9s. They need to try and deal with this pop player. And for Zerba, he can just keep falling back and playing further defensive.
Takes the spray, RDN goes down. The follow does take a Tech 9 pick in and double up as well. Bomb being seen and known towards Pop Dog, and they're going to hear those footsteps and they're expecting him to pour out real quick, but it's all just noise being made to grab these guns. Pull attention away from that B play, which might still be the ending target here for Sharks.
Well, because of that pace towards Pop, they've now drawn out all of the CT util, so there's nothing left. You've now got a position where the anchor has to be very defensive because of the lack of util. Now, 30 seconds on the clock. The CTs have just got to try and gamble towards A. And as of right now, because it's a lack of info, rdnzao's in 2 minds about rotating either out towards B or staying on this A bomb site.
And 4 engages from range. Galil can't drop the bomb carrier. The flashbangs keeping them blinded, so we'll just about see the bomb plant coming in. Still got 2 Tech 9s against the Sharks side. On the high HP players as well. Gafolo at 49 with it and 4. Koala's SMG at 8. Those stray bullets getting dangerously close towards the man. Detroit is creeping up quick. The Doc is right around that corner. Just can't seem to see him, and they recognize they ain't got kids, they ain't got time. 2-game. Being into submission as the Sharks will go blow for blow against the opposition one more time. 2 for 1.
Well, fundamentally, I don't think they've done a lot wrong in that round, Jay. I think the only criticism is how is Lucas not getting a single kill? Zerba is the one with the MP9. He's the one that's more up close and aggressive, and he's drawing them in. Not only has he got an opening kill, but he returns into Pop with a teammate behind him. Mate, that should be a slaughter. That should be so many kills to the CTs. And instead, Zerba gets traded. Yeah, that's fine. Lucas just gets nothing. That should be 2, maybe even 3 kills for him. So individually, they let themselves down, I would say, from both respected organizations in the last couple rounds.
Well, they got another step-up position for the Sharks side. I know the 2-game are going to be on a week in Rifle Buy, but a Rifle Buy nonetheless, technically the first gun round of the map up here. The tactical comes into the teams, can try and reapply the pressure. They'll know that they're in swing position. They'll know that 2-game are in a swing position as well, so winner of this round may connect a few more off the back of it.
Well, for 2-game, we haven't seen that many aggressive approaches from them when it comes to T-Con or Ivy just yet. We've seen a couple of approaches out there towards the Brown Halls. Got to give yourself a little bit of leverage in this round. Got to give yourself a bit of an opening pick somewhere. And I'll say it right here, right now, Jay. If 2Game lose round 4, I think they just lose this best of 3. I think you need to contest train early. And if you end up going down 1-4 with the CT economy, I think you've just given yourself the lifeline that just takes it away.
SMG and M4 been tagged up early for the 2Game side. One of those weapons to the right hand of the Sharks camp. The HEs will tag up Koala on the MP9 on the T side line. Utility at the ready for Koala as well. Ready to pop it in towards the bomb site here over on A through the skylights they look to go. PKL going to adjust back behind Thomas. Molotov's coming in against him at 86 points of health. There's a little bit of damage, but they're going to extend very deep in towards the bomb sites. PKL's good to punish one of them, but player on the bomb site itself is going to fall quickly. PKL trying to get more out of it, not able to do so though. Full B site access and control for the Sharks. Detroit trying to isolate one small niche angle, but it doesn't quite come up to a kill. Koala gets a bit closer and turns that MP9's range game into a strength. A 4v2 for the post plant on the Sharks. 2Game, really no way in.
The 2Game have looked pretty weak on this B-bomb site, haven't they? In terms of the anchor holds, they're just getting overwhelmed. And if you're Sharks, if you're the in-game leader of Gafolo, no matter how much presence you put towards A or how much of a fake, I think you're ending B in quite a lot of these gun rounds because you can just see how uncomfortable they look. And they're not multi-fragging, they're not staying alive and falling back. Yeah, the B-bomb site is a difficult position of the map to hold, but when you realize a weakness that early on, you need to keep punishing it.
Oh, rdnzao. Thought he got the jump on RDN, but no. Shot of the AK leaves nothing to hold over for 2Game. On second stage, lost bonus means that you're probably not looking at a buy here. Even upgrades are being slightly difficult to justify in many of the cases. Detroit were going to deagle out.
Even with 2,400 loss, you're not going to be able to get an AWP up. You're going to struggle. Well, you're in a position where Detroit could, if he goes glass cannon, but you're always going to be limited in that first gun round, aren't you? There's always going to be maybe someone that goes down to a FAMAS, or if you invest in the M4s, you're not going to have the kit and the util out for everybody. So that's always the downfall of losing the force by wars on the city side, is not only do you set yourself back massively for the scoreline difference, but you go into the first gun round, which is your first real chance to contest in the half, and you're already on that back foot.
Well, one of the objectives you have in a basic pistol eco like that is to get a frag, get a rifle, hold an AK over to the next, because it does a lot more than just give you a T-side weapon to work with.
I mean, even Luke he's sort of the pop electric player, so it makes sense that he goes down to an MP9 because of the close range, but you don't really want an SMG. I mean, that's certainly not ideal going into round 6.
Well, as they say, beggars can't be choosers. Missed shot from Angelo. SMG of Lucas gets ahead of the game and does take the AWP down. Look for Doc next up, who has to escape with the big green in his hands. An AK now the CTs can work with. As rdn tries to get towards Pop Dog and trade something, but no one is there for the 2Game squad. And Lucas has found that AK. Now a bit more dangerous in this round. rdn swings to try get him. Lucas good for a triple, though. He's against both rdn and Gafolo.
And there we go. Lucas showing up. He used to be a part of the Sharks Youngsters organization. Come over here to 2Game, and now for the first time in the entire best of 3, we have seen a real impactful round from him. A 23-year-old is trying to make a statement now with the rifle being recovered. And for the Sharks, you'll probably just hold on to the AWP and the AK. There's no point going for this round. Nothing has gone your way. You can mentally reset going into the next, but that was a nice little challenge there for 2Game.
And it gets the second round responsive that they want. The save call already seems to be on the cards here for the AWP and the AK. They're getting Krepticon in several different positions, though. That T-Con position in particular for rdnzao is still hunting. I think PKL has just caught whiff of the bomb carrier, and actually a little bit hidden off. The closer they get, they're going to quickly realize what's happening here, and they should be able to get these humps. take these players down with positions as well. May even be after time as Doc goes forward and he'll stay within the time. And Koala also gets the mercy of the loss bonus. Enough cash to buy in for the rest of the Sharks rebuy and the rest of the Sharks economy state. The 2-game with their second round here.
Not often do you see that boost up that comes into the brown halls to give yourself the little off angle. That setup just wasn't ready for it. Instead, you were watching the T-Con stairs and out there towards the left-hand side, not up onto the window jump. A 2-game needs to start running with this now. You've been able to get AKs for everyone, AWP too. So for that reason, you need to start generating a heavy round streak.
AK swing and a miss. Not a good start to the second round of that round streak for 2-game. Like I said earlier, only won a couple of rifle rounds in their first map up, and they were always responded to by the Sharks. The 2-game trying to get lucky with some of these wall bangs here into the corridors, but nothing is presenting against the Sharks' side. It's slow and methodical in this default.
Now, you had the likes of Zerba go aggressive into the brown halls, work out towards Pop, but because he took so much damage, he now needs to repos, and that's where Lucas is basically retaking his position. Now, the T's have made a little bit of noise trying to regain this brown hall's control. They've got 2 players down on the B bomb site, no util being drawn just yet. Flash around the corner, just a bit of a jiggle, down to 70. And Sharks should A-split off of the basis of this. 3 players can come out Pop Dog, and then 2 players out to T-Con.
Well, PKL's moving. AK leaning up. They're not ready for him. He still can't get the kill against the captain. The HE even sells way too high as Doc walks forward in towards T-Con, loses his life towards Lucas. rdnzao caught transitioning in towards the bomb site itself. RDN can trade back his teammate. Gafolo and Koala finally over on the side defensive. Still goes Ariba on that rotation. The orb also set towards Zed. HE sent towards the smoke. Will try and clear up vision. He's just seen that bomb planted, but he can't hit the kill shot. 2 HP for Gafolo, 11 HP for Angelo. Koala on 61 there. So heavily damaged. Sharks took a beating in that round, but still come out on top, it seems, because Detroit's saving without a kit for the retake. Without the weapons to do so either.
Imagine how tilted 2-game is. First off, PKL should just get a freebie out there towards Ivy. I mean, that's the easiest of kills that you can ask for. It's a shame and it's a bit of luck that the HE doesn't land. Secondly, Lucas is in just such a good position. Edge of T-Con gets the first kill. There's low time on the clock. That round looks finished. With the positions that are being held, with the amount of players that are out there towards A, I would even classify that as an unlosable round. And then instantly, players just start losing gunfights. Players just start getting overwhelmed. Players towards the camera angle, out there at the back of bomb. They're not hitting the shots they should. The rotation of Con gets caught by the AWPer. And that's a moment where, tactically, you were outclassing them. But in terms of the firepower, it just wasn't there. And it's very difficult to keep a strong mental when rounds like that can approach.
RDN to fight, PKL to drop him. Starting advantage for the 2-game side. Once again, the Sharks playing from the back foot with damage onto Gafolo very early. This T-Con take Lucas. Could get swung up on by 3 different players. Angelo and Doc indeed take both him and rdnzao down and tip the advantage in favor of Sharks.
They're just starting to troll a little bit now, Jay. We've got an opening pick out there towards Ivy, and rather than properly containing T-Con, it's a bit hesitant. There's jiggles. They're playing around util, and they get punished for it. You need to be in the right mindset. Either we want to take T-Con or we want to leave it. You're getting caught in 2 minds there on what you're trying to do. Instead, you're just half-heartedly going for fights. And now you're in a man disadvantage. You've got no B player, so there could be pressure building in the B apartments area out there in the brown halls. It's a lack of info. And imagine if you have 2 tilting back rounds. Imagine what that will do to the squad.
If the mental hasn't already got good reasons to be in the toilet right now for 2-game. 30 seconds for the hit to come through from Sharks. They've been leaving it to the very last second, so there's opportunities to think and drop the bomb carrier at the right moment, but They've bolstered up the B site, lived only Detroit here on A. He's watching for this Pop Dog entrance to get the 1 kill. Second one not coming in nearly as quickly. Zed's been smoked. Molotov's back towards Hell to ensure that nobody's there on the back of the train. PKL does have the right read on Dog, but doesn't pull the trigger in time, so he gets away alive, not unscathed. Still up and the man advantage for the Sharks. Angelo gives away a kill, so this might give a second win to the retake. Follow moving up with the AWP, lands only a leg shot. 12 HP for Zariba. Molotov does not burn him out. Doctor and bait PKL right into point blank. Find the fight and the headshot. The time's been stalled for long enough right here. Low HP across the board. No advantages for the CT side. Sharks are going to have minimum 6.
And I'm looking at rdnzao as the highest rated player on Anubis in the last 3 months and the highest rated player out here on Train and think, mate, you are meant to be an experienced player with Tier 1 experience. You've got nearly 1,300 maps under your belt when it comes to HLTV. You've played Tier 1 LANs. You've played many Pro League seasons. Where's his impact? I mean, he didn't put up much out there on map 1, only 10 kills. And then on Train, you're 1 and 6. And I always get the feeling, Jay, that when a team is struggling, it's your veteran players that lead by example, don't they? They put up the clutch rounds, they put up the muscle, and they give hope. They give a life to the younger, sort of more inexperienced players. And right now, rdnzao is just not performing at all.
1 and 6. Once again, we come back to that individual performance metric that Sharks had over 2 games in the last map, and as you can see, very clearly have it over them here in this one as well. rdnzao picked up so early again. It's a Hero AK available, of course, safe from the previous round for Zariba. BKL, nade right to the face with damage done by RDN to start. It's looking like a harsher eco round at the moment, and to be fair, it still is outside of that AK. Upgrade pistols doing very little here.
Yeah, 2Game are just hoping that T start overextending some of these lines, but as of right now, they're just scaling. They're being very passive.
Damaging shot for Detroit on Koala. Angelo's AWP is waiting for more. 45 seconds of the clock, bomb plant secured. Do they value the AK more in the next round? It looks like they do. Not even the pistol players are going to try their luck.
Well, it's a shame that for Sharks, I mean, they've got Legacy you would expect in the next round, and Legacy's permaban is Train. So not only have you had some very good Train officials in back-to-back series when it comes to this bracket, you're not going to get it in the next round. We're going to have to see what their Nuke is like, or perhaps even their Ancient, or even their Anubis again. So just like it has been for 2Game being on the back end of an awkward veto, that looks to be the case for Sharks going to the next best of 3. The only question is how quickly does this series end? I mean, 7-2 up. Haven't seen much that tells us that 2Game will send this to a final map decider, but I also haven't been given too much of a gauge of what the final scoreline could be. I would even say this is the moment to either run double AWPs or to change up tack completely. I'd like to see them take Brown Halls, maybe even get the AWP out there towards Heaven, try and go for an opening pick towards B. Right now, I'm just not getting that flair of what they can achieve in terms of opening picks. They've been quite defensive, they've been quite passive, and then when they've tried to retake map control, they've done it in such a slow fashion that they've been punished because of it.
Need to see a change from 2Game. They just took their first tactical pause of the map up. I believe their first of the series as well. Need to see something on this CT side. Some sort of groundwork to build onto. Because the Sharks right now have a commanding lead, and given their CT side statistics, it doesn't fill me with a whole lot of hope for 2Game. Not like I had much to begin with. AWP shot from Detroit does look pretty clean. RDN first of all.
Gafolo is trying to walk up towards Ivy, and as of right now, he's getting quite a bit of respect against PKL. It's all about timing. The T's would love to be able to respond, but the timing goes the other direction. Angelo's going to struggle to get a returning pick, especially with this resmoke, so this looks to be a comfortable third from 2Game.
Not too dissimilar to how the last map played out at the end of the first, or nearing the end of the first half. Good round that looks very clean and confident from 2Game, but will it carry on with that same trend of losing the follow-ups to the Sharks' side? Happened in those closing moments. It happened a few rounds ago here on Train. 2Game, in my eyes, at the current moment, need to go at least 5 in the half to make something more tangible for the second. Typically, I'd say a half advantage. That's not possible at the moment. The Sharks still got plenty of cash. They're just not giving over the AKs to the CTs. Can tank the lack of incoming funds and still rebuy for the next.
We saw very few opening kills from Detroit out there on map number 1, so just because he's been able to get 1 opening kill on the entrance to Pop Dog doesn't mean that he's going to be able to do it for another 2 rounds in a row and a half. The saved AKs will certainly be a help. And if you are 2Game, you do need to end this half on a high note. You do probably need to go undefeated. You need to generate a round streak, get yourself up to the deficit of 5 to 7, and then feel as if you've got something, that you've at least got a scoreline that's workable moving into the second. And for Sharks, I mean, they'll have no issue buying in this one and the next one. The economy has just been so strong by them.
HG's down on RDN. Again, going to keep the HP rather low, but Detroit burns down a lot of couldn't put the smoke out in time. RDN is so close to contact of a CT player. Is he going to sneak past him for something bigger? He might have to focus back. PKL going to get caught off guard. He actually finds his man. Doc follows it up and responds back to a 3v4, 2v4. rdnzao now finally chimes in with his second kill of the game, but only goes as far as 2. Doc and Angelo close it out. And it's the same story. 1 good rifle, responded to by Sharks. 8-3 on the board. Should go 9-3 of the half. It just looks too good from them.
Doc looks incredible with some of these T-Con maneuvers.
Yeah.
I know that he's only got 8 kills, but the times that he's been placed out to T-Con, he's just been doming. And this is a guy that's made his career known on the Sharks organization. He's been here for over 2 years now, didn't play on a previous pro team, so he's kind of stuck with the org, and they've brought him into being a really strong and stable rifler. Right there for 2Game, just when there was chance, just when there was belief, it just gets answered immediately.
Now Detroit can't hit his AWP shots here. Out towards IVT's 2, takes none. HG's back on rdnzao to 30 points of health of damage. Look at how much map control they've taken away here. PKL's going to have to try and deal with it. Almost caught on timing, but instead RDN gets his pick. HG sends Doc, catches rdnzao with his back turn. Detroit can't take that man out of the fold. And Zariba can also provide support from back at spawn, so we're in a 3-on-3, but they're already looking to take this B-bomb site here. Zariba could have utility and caught in hand. He tries to fight back, but Koala punishes that lack of bullet output. The bomb plant can now be secured. It's a 3v2 for the Sharks. 2Game have no choice but to try a retake in the closing stages of the half itself, but you are not counting on them to take it right here. Slow to the uptake as Angelo lands his AWP shot. Detroit is down. Second man doesn't quite follow him to the grave just yet, but he will do soon after the fact. 9-3 at the turn, another dominant half from the Sharks.
As he turns it, nice headshot.
Come play with us.
He wants to win right here, right now. He's crazy. As he turns it, nice headshot. Clean headshots from Messi.
And 9-3, the only question you can ask is what can 2Game do to try and bring back this matchup? Not just this map up, they're already down by 1 in the series. They threaten against a 0-2 loss on the Sharks side. Dweg, what do we think?
I have no thoughts. There's not much to bring, is there? I mean, how frequently do we see back-to-back 9-3s in MR12? It's unusual because there has been a lack of competitiveness on both map 1 and on map 2. And unfortunately for 2Game, it feels like the only redemption they have is going to be in the lower bracket.
Yeah, unfortunately, as it might be. I think you're right on that one. I mean, you know, it's a pretty bad point when the color commentator can't even come up with anything good to say. 6 rounds to make up in the best case scenario for them, and that's assuming the Sharks don't run with this pistol. You can see how CTs are going to approach this one. Pretty passive line of engagement in general, with the exception of RDN, who's pushed out towards Ivy. Zariba is around the corner of truck. His compadres are on the other side of the map, though. B is the final target.
Now, out on B, Angelo's playing very defensively, same as Koala. So this tells you that it's probably going to be a 5-on-5 retake situation. Watch out for the patience towards Ivy and the timing on this one, because it looks as if Zerba is just going to fake the A-bomb site lean with the smoke and the double flash and just try and drive some over-rotations unless they end up going down towards Pop and going towards the A-bomb site instead.
RDN's pushing.
Oh, it's a free kill.
Smokes will start coming down. RDN's going to start to move. Sees his man, takes him out. Now the A hit's going to be without any more utility support. All of it was stone, though, so Zariba's done his job. It's now to the 5v4 retake, in which the CTs can come in from basically main Z and T-Con here. Nuke and Detroit, however, are going to start to hold the edge of these smokes. It'll start to clear, and one man's going to get seen. Good trade from Angelo, but he's lost his teammate. DeFollow comes back to Detroit to make it a 3v2 still for the Sharks side. PKL and rdnzao are tested and tasked with the post plant, with the defensive line. Glock caught looking the wrong way at the wrong time, but RDN can't punish it. He instead gets return upon. Big chance now for the 2Game side, but Koala has taken one man out. Smokes on the bomb. PKL hits his kill shot. The knife comes in, but DeFollow, he's not being stabbed at the right angle. Even the knife back from the Sharks instead for bonus cash and the pistol win. 4 out of 4 in the series. 2Game could not afford to lose that round, but they just did.
Just excellent patience from Sharks. First off, it's a great info play and great timing for PKL to get an easy kill out there, and the extension that comes towards Ivy. But then even the wraparound, I mean, it's just comfortable, isn't it? It's patient, it's waiting for the T's to make the move. You've got players that are just brute forcing Jules because they're so desperate on 2Game. And there could have even been an AWP investment coming down after that knife kill. They opt against it, and I like that. I think buying an AWP against an anti-force buy is just useless, especially when you've got these many rounds to play with.
Two game. Really not in a very good spot at all. They've got a lot of things they need to do to clean this up. And the Sharks. At least received some scout damage from Detroit, but it's on Angelo with the SMG. The riflers remain intact.
The 2Game need the Ivy players to be successful. With 2 of them packing in quite heavily, they need an opening kill. The flash out for Pop, I mean, Mac 10 at that long range, it's always going to struggle against the bomb train player.
RDN and Gafalo and Doc all chime in. Quick picks, easy stuff. PKL take one back. Doesn't like any more than that, though, here. A couple of trades being as far as it will go, nowhere near what 2Game need to whole contention in this force buy situation as well. We're looking at 11-3, probably 12-3 as well. 2-game. Running out of chances in this series. It is a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. You force the issue to stave off the match point for Sharks, or you try go 9 in a row for overtime. Both of them seem so unfeasible. Yeah, unfortunately, it feels like their time is up here in the upper bracket.
And it looks like this is the only game that's going to be a 2-0 stomp. I mean, the Red Kids Imperial game, that should go to 3 maps. rdnzao, that looks like it's going to 3. Legacy and Sleeva, that's definitely going to 3. And you just look at this one and think, well, we haven't even had a contest. We haven't even had a competitive half, let alone a competitive map.
I think Selva as well lost a 5-13 map pick and still bounced back into the second. That's quite incredible. Unfortunately, 2-game, nowhere near as incredible. And Doc, following up from Angelo's opening pick here in this round, the Deagles. Only a deco kind of round here, and they just don't find anything for it. rdnzao getting 1 pick. It's meaningless unless he converts it into an ace clutch. That's never going to happen. Very wishful thinking from anyone's part. 12-3. It's map and match point for the Sharks, who have dominated their way through this best of 3. And will look to dominate their way to the very end of train and into the semi-final match.
We were taking note out there on Anubis, just the lack of frags being presented, the lack of high numbers. I mean, Anubis ended with rdnzao on 10, Detroit on 10, and then everybody else on single digits. And we're looking at going into round 16, and still no one is on double digits. That's unheard of. Like, there's normally always at least one that's putting up numbers when a team's getting slapped or getting owned. No one has been able to provide consistent impact.
12-3. 9 map points to play with. 9 match points to play with, and 2-game. Delivered us a bit of a snooze fest, unfortunately. Doc finds the first back in T-Con, the place where he reigns supreme. Pushed up for the CT behalf and top frags with 14 kills to his name. Nuke will take down 1 back on the B-bomb side. Koala's there to try and trade. Doesn't quite get any success out of that. They at least go blow for blow on the HP. Second man still there at Zed to watch onto that B-bomb site. Doc in at Pop Dog. Next, he does get caught. Detroit and rdnzao. Get a couple of kills out of their own individual fights. Could follow. And up here in footsteps. Doesn't get away with PKL. So, a little bit of survival for 2-game. I can't help but feel like this is a bit too little too late, though.
Yeah, it's getting dragged out. I mean, Gafolo is going to be able to invest in a big green, get it into the hands of Angelo straight away. Koala will be able to drop 1 M4. RDN can buy himself. There's going to be no issues in the next round at all. 2-game, give themselves a nice little survival round there. I mean, 2 players out there on the B-bomb site. They kind of get tested. They get juggled around a little bit. They get drawn into some fights. So it's an extra round to just play on for a little bit.
At this stage, I'm not looking at this being a comeback. So you are right, just play on a little bit longer, drag it out a little bit more, play to survival on the 2-game cap. But that is as far as we're looking for the immediate future. Return to overtime is the far distant future, and it's certainly not a promise. All sport for Angelo. Rifles and the rest of the players are inbound 2-game. People with their weapons include this as well. Angelo looks to get involved early with his AWP. rdnzao's taking a little bit of util damage down there in the brown halls. PKL, similar story as well in T-Con, but a lot more staunch. Not quite as much done in return to the CT side.
They just leave the NWP posted out here towards Pop. You've got 2Game that haven't been able to take much map control anywhere at the moment. They're still slowly intruding themselves towards the brown halls. They've had absolutely nothing towards T-Con, nothing to Ivy to the start of the round. The Sharks are hearing some of this util out to be. Now, they've got 2 players here. You've got Koala that's still got a re-smoke, and Gafolo that's got another smoke and an incendiary. So he's going to put that down towards T-Con and then rotate himself back over to hold 2 on B.
Saw contact, plus the fire back. CT insertion's not going to try and disrupt the 2Game line. For the most part, they've got most of those potential backstabs covered, particularly at Pop Dog. Angelo hoping that someone comes his way. Koala hoping to get a bit more aggressive though inside that smoke. Don't have too much time left on it, but the AWP lands its fight. Second player seen. Counter incendiary is right there as Dog gets a follow-up kill on Nuke. Is on the Bay B-bomb site execution. Detroit gets 1. Koala continues to press, provide suppression as well onto Zariba. 18 seconds. And there is 1 trade back. I think the player in heaven, though, may well be known about rdnzao. We discovered soon enough. Player right underneath him, less is so. Fights on Zed, and Doc will get him. Gafolo takes his chance to strike, and there it is. 13-4, dominant stuff from the Sharks, rightfully favourites in this series. They move forward to the upper bracket semis. 2Game, got a long climb back through lows.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate how strong this bracket run has been already from Sharks? They lost 8 rounds today and 10 rounds yesterday in back-to-back best-of-3s. They're just not getting tested. Now, yeah, you can say you have to play the teams in front of you. They've had some good draws. They've had keyed stars. They've had 2Game. You are now going up against what should be Legacy in the next round. I don't think you can prepare yourself any better than how you're playing right now of just choke slamming teams in these best of